Yeah. Welcome everybody, and thank you for attending. We had any apologies, Evan?
We've received apologies from Councillor Lord, Councillor Moffat, and Haley from County Today.
Thank you very much. Is there any declaration of interest from anybody about any of the items on today?
Can I just ask if we've had apologies from the bid from McGladdery's?
No, we've not received any apologies.
There's no declarations of interest from anybody? No. Thank you. Could I have a nomination to move that the minutes of the carried, and don't think we've got anybody from the public forum tonight, have we, Nathan? Okay, so let's move on to the feedback from Remembrance Sunday.
So Remembrance Sunday, I think it all went quite well. We got lucky with the weather because I think as the parade got to the Legion, it started to rain, so we got quite lucky there. I've not had any negative feedback. Really, it's all been quite positive, which is always good. Yeah.
So there was a few problems, but they were unseen, if you know what I mean. So the young man who was taking the parade wasn't 100% sure just what to do. And his mentor was down at the cenotaph. So I jumped in and helped. So next year we need to know that somebody's going to be there. I mean, I'll be there anyway, but somebody's going to be there that's 100%. And we left early just to make sure we got everybody down there. I'd rather be there 10 minutes early than 1 minute late. So yeah, so that's the only thing that I saw that was that needs addressing really. Yeah, everything was fine. The music was fine. That works every day with that quad bike every day, and the bagpipes. It was all good. Just that one thing that we need. The vicar said it's good to do the sermon before the actual the gun goes off. Normally, you go down there, you wait, you do the reefs, the gun goes off, and then you do a sermon. It's better to do the sermon first, and then carry on. So, if we can speak to the organisers and have a meeting with them, and just change the timings a little bit, so get down there a bit earlier. And like I said, do the same. And first, the vicar really liked it doing it first, and it's not hanging about afterwards. So, other than that, all good, all good.
I'm sure that we can arrange a meeting, obviously, with the organisers. Obviously, try to fix the small issue, obviously, so we can. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. It's just we can workshop it, can't we, and try and. Yeah.
Chair, just want to there's one thing that always not concerns us, but I don't think we can vote about it. Earby Band are all right, but it's all at very slow. It's not at the touch, when people sing. It's difficult, isn't it? Because they were playing the hymns, and so it'd be good if we could get. I don't think we can get another one. I think it's because they've all got them booked, haven't they, years in advance. And the only other thing is that the music was great, but it was the same tune over and over again. If we could have a couple.
So what you can do in today's modern technology, I went to an army. An example. Went to an army reunion. And as a veteran, I was a little soldier, escorted us around the place, and he was then playing the bugle. And when I went up to, take a picture of him, he wasn't playing it. He was putting it to his mouth, electronic button on it, and then down below the speakers also. So if you wanted a sermon or an hymn playing, you can do it electronically. You know, you don't actually, you know, I like the band personally as a personal touch. But if in reality you want something different, you can get anything electronic, anything. Yeah, yeah. And once you lose them forever. Ah.
I can have a look to see if any others are available, but I do think it will be difficult because they tend to be booked out years in advance, and they.
So what I suggest is it's like the gala, because we've no funding, we have to wait till the last when we get some funding before we book anything. But in reality, we should, well, we are going to book, you know, as soon as we can, we're going to book a main event. So if you say the brass band, they booked up years in advance, say they booked up 2 years, then book them for the third year. Book them now for the third year, and then you're guaranteed to get them. You know, when people just stop, say, oh, they booked up for years, and they stop. Why don't you just like, when you booked up till 2025, oh, we'll book you on the 2026 then. And that way you're going to get them. And it's a way to go, isn't it? It's a way, you know, and next year book them for 27 or what.
Maybe it's a conversation we could have with the AB Brass Band, see if there's something that they can do also to like improve their timings. For instance, maybe they had some new members. I don't know if it might could have been new members or something like that. Yeah, it's. Thank you, everyone, for their feedback and suggestions. Nathan, can I ask you to provide feedback, obviously, from Christmas in Cole?
So we've actually, our videographer was joined us for the Christmas light switch on. When the computer wakes up, I'll bring it up. So, as you'll see on the video, it was quite a successful day. We got really lucky with the weather. Brilliant day. We've had a lot of positive feedback across social media. People ringing up, people emailing in saying how well organised it were, how good the variety of entertainment were. And people came out in crowds for the lights, which was great. Couple of issues we had on the day was more to do with the indoor market. Obviously, the first time we used Ernie's for the market, which was a lot easier in regards to setting up and packing down. But because of how busy the Santa's Grotto was, people were like queuing in front of stalls, which had a little bit of an impact on footfall and trading experience. Maybe 10% of traders weren't happy, but it's obviously the first time we've done it, and we've already made those amendments so that next year we haven't got that issue of the queue. We're going to make the Santa's Grotto queue up outside the building through the shutter door on the other side of the building. But overall, I think it was a brilliant day, and it was enjoyed by everybody.
Thank you, Chair. Would it, because I know it was a big issue with Santa's Grotto where it was, would it be possible, say, to put Santa's Grotto in the library? Actually use the library for the Santa's Grotto, because obviously they're putting craft activities on, etc. in the library, and it'd be quite a good place for Santa.
The problem with putting something like Santa's Grotto in the library is, one, the queue, it'll be in front of everything because of where the shelves are and where they do the craft activities. You are limited to where you can queue. And the only space that they've got that would be the most accessible is downstairs, and it's not the biggest of rooms. So I think we would struggle. What we have done for the Grotto for this year, and we'll say next year then, is the Grotto, we're going to put it at the other corner of the room, and where that corner is, a couple of stalls down, there's a shutter door that goes out the building and up the side of the building along the back, so that people that want to go to the Grotto, they're not queuing in front of stalls, they're not blocking anybody coming into the Christmas market. They will queue a separate way. They'll come in, see Santa, and then they can go into the market if they want to obviously prevent that issue with the queue and it being a bit busy. No, it's all flat. Yeah, it's the side entrance near Empress Mill.
Well, that's got a lot of cobble, and how would you manage with the buggies?
You put boarding over,
Right, okay,
so
Yeah,
we've had a look and it is achievable.
right.
Yeah, the second issue was where the face painting was. It created an horrendous bottleneck where people were queuing up and people were struggling to get past them, and it was a nightmare.
That's something else that was mentioned. So we're going to put the face painters in the town centre next year, so that you haven't got that bottleneck. So that way we should have a market where people can go around without being blocked by people queuing or anything like that.
Correct then.
Great.
So I traded inside and I traded outside with Coal Market. The disparity in takings was sort of 25% inside compared to, and I took 75% more outside as a rough estimate. And I think Nathan's got absolutely right where the issues were, you know, in terms of the Father Christmas and the face painter. The flip side of the coin from a trader's point of view as well is we lose 3 hours trade with the indoor market because it finishes at 4 o'clock. And obviously with the outdoor market, where we can trade, or if we were on, you know, outside, we could trade right up through that busy second pulse when people come uptown. But, you know, I think year on year, if the market is down there, it will grow because people know it's there. And I do think there is a benefit in being able to build it beforehand and break it down easier. You know, so I do think he's got a lot of potential. But what I'd like to suggest to Nathan, if possible, is obviously keep the indoor one like you're planning on doing anyway. But add the option for outside. Obviously, only with your own setup. Only with your own gazebos. All the council has to do really is mark out spaces where a chalk spray or whatever it is you use. Because the part of the high street that was sort of from, say, the Co-op upwards was unused. That'd have two benefits to the event. Number one, it'd make the town centre look fuller. It'd drag people up to them businesses further up Colne as well. It'd allow traders who want to trade outside to trade later on. And it'd add added revenue on top of what's already in Ernie's to help fund the event. If you had another 20 stalls outside at, I don't know, 30, 40 pounds, it's an extra £600-800 worth of revenue for the on top of what you already plan to have. Now, if the weather's really bad, then you'd have to cancel them outdoor stalls, but they'd just be an extra revenue compared to what you were already getting anyway. And that way, I feel like it ticks both boxes. But I feel like I've been a little bit negative. The event was really well organised. It was really well put together. The entertainment was top shelf. You know, so thank you very much, Nathan.
So a suggestion first, and then I'm going to talk about the market. So a suggestion, as you go down this side of Ernie's and you go in, and there's a little cafe there on the right hand side. But up on the top, there's empty rooms at the top. Can Santa not go in there and the face painter go in another room? Do you rent all of Ernie's, or do you just rent the back room?
We hired just the car boot hall, the main room that we had downstairs.
Because in the next one, where the cafes and the chairs are, I've been all over that place, and this room's big enough for Santa, and there's a room big enough for face painting in the cafe side, and that's well away from the market stalls, so there'll be no queues and things like that. So it's something to look at. And rent wise, I mean, you know, you're renting that big room. I don't think they'll charge you anything really, but it's worth a look at and you know, ask.
Yeah,
It will solve all the problems.
Yeah.
Don't worry, won't be long. So reference business wise, I agree with you. From like Tesco's, if you will, upwards, it was really sort of empty. But because this is so popular now, I do believe that you would, subject to weather, because that's the weather's a killer. If it gets too windy, remember once you cancel all the stalls. But that's better doing that than getting somebody hurt. But I do believe that the stalls outside, you have enough people to go inside and outside. So that we something to look at. But obviously, the weather is a main factor, and we'll have to, you know, sort of factor that in, really. But yeah, the indoor Ernie's is a good thing. One more thing is, somebody asked me where it were, and then somebody else asked me. So we can do a bit more signage, you know, saying Ernie's this way, that sort of thing. That's it really from me. Thank you.
I just want to echo, well, you know me, I think a Christmas market is an outside market, full stop, basically. But I know in bad weather, and guess what happened last year, you know, we decided to do that. But I quite like Craig's, you know, that if, you know, plan to do it inside, but have some extra. And if it's good weather, they should go up the main street, like they did that year when everything got blown over. Because honestly, there were a lot of outside things like wreaths and that you could, that you know, don't do well in inside, and flowers and that, aren't they, and other stuff. And about the place where they do the cafe and that, and all the seats, that, I mean, I know the face painters were at one time, but if you put them there, you still be coming in at that door, and you'd have to have all the prams and that up the top end there, wouldn't you? That'd still be a bit of a bottleneck.
As you come in, then all them tables and chairs are removable. Or just push it one side, samples you go along there and other side, sample. Basically, the same. So it's them two, or the main sewage, you know, the two, places. And if they're outside that main, area of the, store, it'd be a lot better, I think it'd be a lot better.
The face painters were there, weren't they? But as you went in on your right, and you had to go around them to get in the main.
When you walk into a, like a cabin,
Yeah,
where anybody want, and there's a room there in the door, and the sound of pick it up. They're choosing to be in this side, and then slow on that side, and you're not.
oh, well, I'll ask Ian, you were on that door. I think it were busy both sides, wasn't it? When
Yeah, Chair, through Chair, yes. Well, the carpet time, because don't forget, Granny's Kitchen has relocated from the market into Ernest Cafe now. So you had the regular customers. There was another cafe. There's actually two cafes. There's Granny's Kitchen and then there's Ernest Cafe. And then on the other side of the doors, there was a pizza place. And that was, so people were queuing up there, sitting down, having meals, etc. People coming in off the street just somewhere to rest. So, you know, it's that. But where the first painting was, it was only because they'd used the table right next to the walkway. If they'd used, say, 2 or 3 tables at the back, it would have been no issue whatsoever. I think in this, yeah. Well, I'm sure in this modern day and age, we've gone past using candles and stuff like that. We can actually get some electric lights in, possibly.
Yeah.
I just think that I just think the high street did lack. But people did come to me and did say, where's all the stores? They were locked there last year. So down there, these people that don't use Facebook, but they were big signs for them to see. You know what I mean? They were there. Yeah, no, they were further up near the stage. They were big signs, but I don't know. I just think that looking around town atmosphere, weren't as much there. Maybe that atmosphere was already there because of the park. I need to spend all the time down. Maybe the schools on the street, maybe local businesses, burn down. And like I said, I don't know, but I do think it needs to go on the street.
I think we accept that, don't we? That it's better to got a Christmassy feel and people having fairy lights in all the stalls and everything, and music going on and bustle, and people stopping and chatting to the friends because they see them. But it's the weather, so I agree that if the weather forecast is looking all right, we should try and do more. It
definitely will be, that's one part. It's not a shit, at the same time, that's people. Because they're all using their own selves, not any equipment, not doing their settlements. They put the liability insurance. They're all going to do by that space.
Would there be no liability then insurance wise if they were to do that? Or would it still fall on our insurance? Because I know our insurance was an issue while we have had to move it indoors because someone gets injured by a rogue gazebo flying around it. Obviously it comes back on us at the end of the day.
It's something that would need to be looked into. I mean, I do agree. It would have been a better atmosphere on the high street with some stalls. Obviously, we had brilliant weather this year, so we got very lucky. But you can't guarantee it. So So we'll have a look. We'll speak with the insurers, see what they say, and then if we can have an option for outdoor stalls as well as 50 stalls indoors, then we can try it. Obviously, if we have to cancel it, we have to cancel it. But I'll get Gina to speak with the insurers and go from there first.
Do you know the indoor stops? Joe was saying like the shut at 4. Could we extend the opening hours to say 6?
The problem you have with the indoor market, we're open until 5. Between 5 and 7, you will struggle to get footfall, because what happens is they all go down to the bottom for the parade, then they'll come up and then they're outside in front of the stage. So the only traders that benefit after like 5 o'clock are your food vendors or selling light ups, that sort of thing. If you've got somebody selling, I don't know, candles, they will be stood there for 2 hours doing absolutely nothing, because people focus on the last 2 hours of the parade, stage finale, that sort of thing. But as well, you if you extend it to 6 o'clock, you then lose 2 members of staff between 5 and 6 when you actually need them for the parade. So that's why we did close the indoor market at 5, so that we had the extra staff available, and so traders weren't stood around wondering what's going on, because everyone else is up on the high street.
Cheers for that, Nathan. And let's move on now to Easter in Colne, our next event on the 30th of March.
It's come around quicker than you can think. So Easter it's 2 weeks earlier than normal this year. It falls in March, which is great. As it stands at the moment, we don't know what's happening with the market, whether they're closing Parliament Street car park or whether they're going to leave it open. The likelihood is they are going to close it, which means we're going to lose half of the event space where we normally do the market. So myself and Gina was talking, and we said it might be an option to close the road for that event. Last year it was really, really busy, and the only negative feedback we received was it was too busy and the road should have been closed. So we've spoke with the traffic management company. It cost us £650 to close the road for the day, which would then mean we could put activities in the road, just like we do at Christmas. We could have the stalls running down the road, just like we had last year, hopefully without the wind. But it would mean that if we were to get the same footfall that we did last year, we're not going to be struggling for space, because, like I say, we have lost 50% of the event space that we did last year. So that's something that we need to look at and consider for this year. Entertainment-wise, practically everything's been booked for the event. So we've got face painting booked, mini golf, circus workshops and circus shows, Punch and Judy, comedy magic, balloon modelling, donkey rides, free archery, craft activities, live music, and then we've got Accrington Pipe Band performing as well. We've managed to get an additional sponsor this year for the event. So West Riding Hyundai have agreed to sponsor the event alongside Farmhouse Biscuits. And I've been in discussion with Diane at Asda, because they're looking at supporting all the events this year, however they can. They tend to give you money and then you can get what you need. We've got 21 traders booked on so far. Until we decide whether we're closing the road or not, depends on the limit of traders. Because if we don't close the road, we're going to have to find an alternative location. Obviously, if we were to not hold the market, you lose an income to the event, which means we'd have to take a bit of entertainment off. Yeah, if anyone's got any thoughts.
Would it be cost effective? Could we use earnings again for Easter for the market with the success of Christmas?
I probably wouldn't recommend it, because the reason it works so well in Ernie's at Christmas is it's cold. People want to find somewhere indoors to go, whereas in summer, spring, it's a bit warmer. People want to be outside, so I think you'd lose your footfall. And I think it would be quite a big risk for traders because they know that people would prefer to be outside, especially if the sun's out.
Could we use Red Lion car park?
That was a thought we had, but if Parliament Street car park's closed and then you close Red Lion car park, where's everybody going to park? You then losing your biggest car park in the town centre, which is then why we recommend to close the road like we do at Christmas.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just wondering, you mentioned all the events that you've got going on, and at Christmas you did an event where, you know, for going round finding the. How about Easter egg hunt?
It's something we do every year. It is on there. I've just not mentioned it because I've not bought the Easter eggs.
They are on sale now.
Yes, they are on sale.
Can I say that why don't we, if we need a market outside, why don't we use the bus station?
So we had a look at the bus station because obviously Colmbid and Independent Street used the bus station for the food festival. And I've spoke to a couple of traders that traded and we've had a look. And because of the height of the wall and it being where it is, we found that it's kind of out of the way in a way because it's hidden behind the wall. I think you'll have a reduced footfall. A couple of traders said that people were up on the high street doing the bits of activities that were going on, but because the market was behind the big wall, you would only see a small snippet of it and it wouldn't be big enough to catch your attention to go down, if that makes sense.
When they had the food festival, though, Parliament Street car park was being used, so
So it was like
people were going down. If Parliament Street is a
building.
builder's yard or it won't work.
And that's the car park next to the Union, that Union car park. I mean, to be honest with you, people don't use it to go shopping, just the locals that use it. Well, I probably use it and then go into town. So it's something to look at if you wanted a space, and it's on the high street-ish. So that's another space that you can look at.
It is a space we could look at, but similar to the bus station, it's because it's tucked around the side of the Union, you may struggle to get your footfall around there. Because obviously people will go to Hartley Square, and if they don't go further enough, they're not going to see that it's there.
Okay, just a suggestion.
I don't know if we released it to the electric, so all that sort of thing, not to put people on, but it's like across the road down the square. Right now, always on. I think for the fantastic idea. And I think we get what was the goal? That's how it's still keep on money.
Yeah, the traders that are booked on has already paid for the road closure for it. When we did it last year at Christmas, we had 50 stalls booked on, and there was still more room. So if we wanted more, we could have had more.
We of course slow down. We start the line on short.
I think it's probably going to be the way to go, isn't it? The road closure is going to be, because we don't know what the state of play is going to be come March. Do we really with the market and how quick the turnaround's going to be on the work, because this said was going to be starting in January, but I don't know whether that's next couple of weeks or it's. But I think if we've got the traders there to cover the cost of it, we can get a few more on as well. We can make a bit more money on that as well, because we can spread the market down across more of the town, like what we do when the market's on for the Boys Festival, isn't it? Because they come past the town hall, some of the stalls, don't they, on the
We don't tend to do a market at the Blues. It was St John's that did a market. So if the committee's happy for us to go ahead with a road closure, can we get a proposer and a seconder?
seconded.
Who seconded that? Sorry.
Alice second that
No
one.
problem.
And now it's the family fun day up at Alkin Courts Park in July.
If you didn't guess, between December and January, I'd just start booking stuff for next year. So the majority of the fun day stuff's been booked. It's in place. So a couple of issues we had last year was people parking wherever they felt like it, and toilets. So this year we've allocated some of the budget for that event to get some signage so that people can be directed to Holt House for parking or behind the leisure centre. And we're going to be hand delivering letters to the residents along Alkin Courts Road and those streets surrounding, just to let them know that we are planning the event. Just give them the heads up. Toilets, we've gone for double the amount of toilets we had last year, and we're going to put them in a better location. We're going to put them where we had the climbing wall last year, and we're going to get a big sign that says toilets, so people can't miss them. We've booked the Bird of Prey show like we had the first year, where they'll do 2 demonstrations and people can see the birds of prey as well. We've got axe throwing, rodeo bull, free face painting, Lancashire Fire and Rescue, Lancashire Police have said they'll attend as well and do a demonstration. We've got Punch and Judy, Comedy Magic, balloon modelling, night workshops, night jewel shows, donkey rides, and we're looking at a mobile farm, petting farm, sort of thing like we had for the first year. We're going to put the stage back where we had it last year as well, and have a variety of entertainment on the stage. We've got live music, dance act, and then we've got a princess sing along, and then children's entertainer as well, which worked quite well last year. And then we'll be having the market as well, which we've got 29 traders booked on for that so far. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the family fun day. Yes, I've just not decided which characters yet.
Okay.
So if you would be free to
Yeah.
dress up, that would be brilliant.
Well, they got me last year. Yeah. But I wasn't dressed for it, you know, if I know it's happening, I can wear a pair of shorts, whatever, because it was up. One more thing is on the day, I went liquor picking, and it's an idea. We do it on the gala. We tie black plastic bags everywhere. Just tie it to a tree or tie it to the dog compound. You know, 4 on each level, and that way people see a bag and they'll put it in rather than just throw it on the floor. And most of the rubbish was around in the fair area. So if you put some, you know, if you buy 100 plastic bags, it'll save lots and lots of work. So it was a suggestion. Most people will use the bags if they can see them.
I have spoke to David Walker at Pendle to get some of the big skips, to have a couple of those dotted around as well. I mean, before I left site around like 9 o'clock, I went round and made sure that every last bit of litter was picked up, and taken away as well. But if anyone on the events committee would be free on the day to help litter picking, that'd be super.
Thank you. On parking, one of the complaints we had last year, the traders and that, because they were having to park sort of like, in their words, miles away, and because it was so popular, they were struggling going out for resupplies. And they want to know, is it possible to park at least one vehicle behind the stall so that when they you know, it would make it easier for them to get resupplies in, because they were having severe problems. I think at one time they'd run out of something and it took the poor stall over 30 minutes just to get to get to his car and get the stuff, which 30 minutes of loss of trading.
Do the slushy stalls.
Yeah. There's a couple of us who are having the same problem because they were told they can't park behind the gazebos. They're having to park the cars elsewhere and they're having to try and find the cars, and it's a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, well, right, when it's my turn, Michelle.
Sorry, I'll just answer Ian's concern. So the problem with having your traders parked behind your gazebos is you'll tend to have not enough room for all the traders to park there. We did send an email out, which is a trader guidance document, which on that document it states where traders will be parking, and it gives them all the information. So it wasn't like on the day they was just informed, oh no, you can't park your vehicle there. They was told in advance. So a lot of the traders made sure that they had all the stock out ready and they had everything that they need. So if they had to keep stuff cool, they had it ready to do that. If you letting traders park behind the stalls as well, if any of them need to dash off anywhere, you've got vehicles moving where you've got people walking into the park, which it wouldn't be recommended. It'd be a health and safety hazard. So that's why we try to get them to park at Holt House. So if they do need to dash off to get extra stock, they're not driving through the park. But traders are informed like 2 weeks before where they're parking vehicles, which I'm sure Craig can confirm that we send that email out.
Can I just say, sorry, my voice is gone. Littering, I know we talked about it in the past, but could we really make sure that we think about recycling? So I know that skips are being ordered, but could brown bins be placed next to vendors that are selling food? I thought there was very little litter through that event because the Lensman and Nathan, you were really on it, but I would like to see more recycling receptacles. Thank you.
Okay, two things. I'll come on to yours first because it's prevalent. The problem and this is not through Nathan, this is through me and my dealers with the gala. For an individual to start recycling is utterly impossible. When you litter pick, then you're not putting that in that bag and that in that bag. You're just picking litter up and putting it in a bag. And then you have to recycle that bag. So it would be hard work to recycle. If people see a brown bin over there, they'll just put it on the floor here. As I walked round and I got 2 very large bags full of rubbish. There was all sorts in there, and it will be, well, you get somebody a couple of hours to go through it all to put that in there, that in there, and that in there. So I think you would struggle to, by all means have brown bins, but by all means, and I'm for recycling,
Yeah.
I just think that on the gala, it would never work because somebody would have to sit there, empty the rubbish out and then recycle it, which would never happen on the gala.
I think that there were certain traders that were just selling plastic. To have a brown bin next to
Yeah, well,
that,
that's fine, yeah.
then people have got the option of putting it in. Okay, they might not. We might have contaminated waste, but at least you're giving people the option to use the brown bin if they want to.
That's fine. Those are all after liquor pickers.
Litter pickers,
Just
fair
put it in a
enough.
bag.
I
I'm
mean,
happy.
obviously the Waterside Action Group go litter picking. We do have separate bags and we do change our bags for cans and then general waste. So it can be done, but obviously sometimes it's just
Not
a
I mean.
nightmare. But just a simple brown bin next to places.
I'm happy.
Like it.
Let's have a brown bin.
Yeah.
And the other thing is parking behind stalls. On the gala, we have a policy that if you want to park your vehicle behind your stall, you can do. Because we leave enough room for the fire brigade to get in from the arena to the fire brigade. And you have to be in there by 9:30, and yet you can't leave until 5 o'clock. If you sold everything at 2 o'clock, you still can't leave because of people walking about. It's policy. And if you don't like it, then you don't park your car there. Your car park, just whatever, or traders park on a designated place. But that it should be if you're going to do it like that, it should be an actual place where it's traders only. I don't know if you have that there. A designated place where you just sort of traders only.
We don't tend to. We normally just point them to the nearest car park. Family Fun Day, we was directing them to Holt House because then they'd have direct access into the park through the top.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
That's I go to, and I mean 98%. Once you put your car in, that's it. You can't move it. And it's up to you to bring everything you want for the day with you. And it comes down to planning as a business, really. And it just is what it is, because if you travel to do events, you might be somewhere you don't know. And Nathan did send that email out, so I think parking next to your store will be better, but you upset the fact you can't move.
Just last word, maybe, I don't know. I don't know the regulations now, but I know at our chip shop they have to use. They're not allowed to use plastic anymore. They have to use, stuff that you can recycle. But I don't know whether that's the same as like vans that. I don't know. Do you?
So when I've looked into it, it applies to pretty much all businesses that are doing food, drink, that sort of stuff. So when we send our trader guidance out, it will be mentioned in there that there could be spot checks. A lot of businesses are trying to get rid of the plastics now before they start using the new trays, new cups, which hopefully by the time March comes, they should be rid of them all. But it will be mentioned on there that there could be spot checks on the day.
I think there were certain exemptions. I mean, this came in September, sometime last year rather than now. I know there were some exemptions for odd things that wouldn't. They sold one every blue moon, so they'd ordered 10, and so it was going to be there were exemptions like that. But all certainly polystyrene and all that should be a no now. They should have used it by now and just using the fully recyclable ones. So if there are people still selling drinks on there in polystyrene cups and plastic, cups, they ought to be told, you're breaking the law. Use the recyclable plastic.
Yes, Chair. The law does say that as of yesterday, all biodegradable cups and plates and trays are to be used in all events where food and drink is to be sold. It came into force yesterday, Chair.
Thank you for that. I'll just a bit of a follow up. Do you like the family fun day and that? About send inclusiveness. Have we able to jump up for the first hour, designate it as like a quiet hour? And obviously, I know you've got the petting zoo set up. We could obviously get a therapy animal, obviously, in with that sort of setup, and maybe near where the bandstand is. Because I know from where last year it kind of extended up to the bandstand, didn't it? Maybe we could designate that as like an exclusive area for obviously because I know we've got like the ear defenders. I know we've sorted that out. I know we could get them distributed on the day. I mean, is it something that's feasible? Is it something we can do?
First 2 hours of the event will be quiet hour, well, quiet 2 hours anyway, because there's no live music until 12 o'clock. We can look at having an area where if anyone is struggling with how busy the event is or getting overwhelmed, that they can take themselves away and then come back. We could maybe look at doing craft activities up there. And it's adds to the event, but it's also creates a quieter area. Obviously, it's not going to be silent up there because you're in the park. You've still got stuff going on around, but it's something we can look at.
Just one more thing. Nathan, is it possible to get radios? Because when that young lass had a bleeding nose, I think you did a 100-mile sprint to get the medics. So if we'd have certain people like the medics and obviously yourself and maybe one or two stewards, that instead of like, you know, I shout on the mic and things like that. But
we have invested in some radios, some very high quality ones which we used at Christmas. So myself, Gina, first aid, and other members of staff had them.
Happy days.
So that's something we have brought in. We used them at Christmas and they worked very well, and we'll be using them at every event.
No problem. And just for your knowledge, I've just bought I was having my phone fixed and there was a speaker on the floor. So I asked about it, and it comes with microphones. And I bought it on the spot. It was that loud, and it's portable, so you can charge it up, take it anywhere you want. So that, you know, if ever you want to need it for anything, it'll blast this room out. So loud. It's 120 quid at the phone shop.
We've got 3 of them downstairs.
Have you? What happy days then? Now you tell me.
I'm sure you'll be taking advantage of that at the gala, won't you? You'll be.
Chair, can I just mention before we get off this subject, we mentioned the send a quiet area.
Yeah.
That would be for parents to look after the children.
Of course,
I don't think we'd have experts to
No,
out
I
and
agree.
capture it. It'd be somewhere that
Yeah.
they'd have to look after their own children.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that all right?
Just on to the Grand Prix now.
So you might remember that the British Cycling had made the application for cycling events a bit more formal. It went through a tender process. We was successful. We have been awarded the event again. So we've been given the 23rd of July, which is, I think it's just after the schools break up. Condition of the tender was what British Cycling want to do. They want to not only have a men's elite race, they want to have a women's only elite race. So this year we've gained an additional race, which has a couple of cost implications with it, but it doesn't make it impossible. With that being said, we've approached Fort Vale, the main sponsor that sponsors the men's elite race. Explained it's a 20th year and we're adding the women's elite race, and they've agreed to up their sponsorship. So Fort Vale have kindly agreed to sponsor the men's elite race and the women's elite race, which should help us put that race on. Obviously, with those additional costs, the traffic management's been booked and the road closure's been sent in to Lancashire County Council, which be 12 weeks before we hear anything. The additional PA has been booked, the barriers, the toilets, the first aid, the road cleaning has been booked. The publicity and the banner designs, advert design, and the program designs have all been booked. And we're just waiting now for a meeting with the other organisers to get the ball rolling on the last couple of bits that we need to book. Riggs Auto Pack have kindly agreed to sponsor the Sprint for Success again. And we've started to write to local businesses to ask them about being a local sponsor for the event. We've written a letter to the returning sponsors to offer them the local sponsor package at reduced rate because they've sponsored it year after year. And today we was just putting the new sponsorship letters to get us to go straight out to hopefully bring some more local sponsors on board. We're hoping we may be able to get some coverage this year on BBC Northwest. We're currently in talks with the BBC to try and get some sort of airtime, which it's looking pretty positive. But the Grand Prix will be returning, and it's all underway.
Excellent. You best get your best suit on, Nathan, for TV appearance. But thank you very much for that. And sorry,
The one thing that may spoil it is the big hole in front of the just down where you come outside. Well, there's I haven't got to that one. There's two big holes just when you come round past the Duke of Lancaster. There is then a giant hole outside the bus shelter outside Farm Foods, and the corner going round Craddock Road is pretty murky. So we need to be talking nicely to Lancashire County Council to say, get your finger out and bung some tarmac in. No, don't bung tarmac in the holes, because that's what they do. And if you go and look at them, all that happens is it washes out. And there are loads of little pebbles round the hole. So not only is there a hole to fall down, there are lots of little pebbles if you walk into slip on. But I can foresee that it will get to the stage that the commissaire or whoever's in charge of it will say, I'm not setting them off because it's not safe. So we do need to put pressure on the county to do that.
Like we do every year, one day, very early hours in the morning, we'll go around, take photos, measure the depth of them, and get them reported and keep a log of the photos. And every week we'll pester LCC until it gets done.
thank you for that. Now the planning on for Halloween on the 26th of October.
So this year I'm looking at Halloween to look at doing like a themed event. So I'm currently looking at like a Harry Potter themed Halloween event, where we can have like walkabout characters that look like Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, wizard workshops, potion making, activities like that. I'm still looking into what activities, what entertainment we can put on. But there doesn't seem to be many themed Halloween events around the area. The most successful one I saw this year was Harry Potter, which I'll be taking a lot of ideas from. But nothing's really been booked so far, but we do have 18 traders booked onto that already.
Wizards and warlocks,
Wizard Workshop.
wizard workshops, right?
Patricia, then Craig, then.
Thank you, Chair. One of the people that might be helped, or one of the businesses in local businesses that might be able to use Saints and Dragons, just up by the Istanbul there, because they're that's what they do. They are Halloween-esque. So and they've got all sorts of props that they might be able to use. Because one of the big props they've got is Frankenstein's chair. Actually, in the shop, they've got a big Frankenstein's chair in the shop, and they might be able to help you with other points towards that. If that's the way you want to go, sir, Chair.
I think you're right on the money. I really do. Harry Potter, from a toy retailer, was one of the best selling products this Christmas. It's absolutely massive. You know, I don't know why it's come back so big, but anything with a Harry Potter sticker on it sold out. So I think you're absolutely spot on there with that idea. And Barnoldswick are using that wizard theme this at the end of this month.
So can we have a fancy dress competition for that night as well?
Yeah, we'll always do a fancy dress like we do every year.
Okay, cheers.
Thank you very much. Maybe we can get Ian to dress up in some robes and get a hat on, and that's what I was going to suggest. I was going to suggest that. It'd save some money. It'd save some money on the old actors.
I have got my staff chair and it's armed and loaded.
Remembrance Sunday planning for next year's. Sorry, this year's one. Sorry. I'm not it.
So the road closure, traffic management, sorry, has been booked. The road closure application's sat on my desk. I've done it today, ready to go in. The first aid has been booked. The PA system has been booked that goes on the back of the quad bike. I've sent an email to the bagpiper today to see if he's available. The reef is on back order to make sure we get it in time. We don't need to get any new lamppost poppies this year because the ones that we put up last year all came back in pretty good condition. So we're saving quite a lot of money there. West Riding Hound, I have agreed to sponsor a remembrance event this year. So they're going to sponsor the poppies, and we'll put a small bit on the bottom in memory of somebody. We're going to gather some names, and then each poppy will have in memory of whoever, and then sponsored by West Riding Hound. But pretty much everything's been booked for Remembrance Sunday, other than brass band performance, which obviously we'll be looking into.
Thank you, Chair. A bit hazy on details, but there's a part of Colne's history which has been completely and totally forgotten. I think it was in the 1800s. A regiment of foot was raised primarily from the people of men of Waterside, And they were then marched off, I think down south somewhere, on board a ship to sail away. The ship sank with loss of all lives. And at the time, it devastated Waterside. It's reported, I think, in called Annals. There was not one dry eye in Waterside. It was a complete devastation of young men. And that there's only one, to my knowledge, there's just one memorial, and that is to the colonel of the regiment. And it doesn't even mention the men, it just mentions the colonel. It's a small plaque in the church. And I think we need to look into that and maybe sort of do something about that, because I say it was a great devastation to Waterside. It's something we should never forget, that the men of Waterside volunteered to give their lives only to be lost at sea. And I say it's sad that it's just totally forgotten. I'm not sure. I'm going to actually do some research into it, because it was a great tragedy that affected all of Waterside.
Tell us when you find it.
I think it does something that I think it does merit looking into. Maybe someone could have maybe a memorial within Waterside as well. Maybe like the Millennium Green, we could put some like history of the incident up around there, so it's people it's there it's to commemorate those who did lost their lives as well, and then also the younger generation can learn about it. And I don't think a lot of people around Colwell, it wasn't taught in schools. So I can attest to that. It's
Yeah, so if you get me all the information, I'll get it published. You know, I have good friends that will put them in magazines and things. So if you get me all, if you get any photos, it'll be even better.
Yeah.
Any history at all, I'll get it published
Yeah.
for you.
All I know is it's.
Oh.
I'm going to have to go up to the library. It's in. It was actually in called Annals, which I've got a copy in the it's the reference section. So I'll check that up here, get you the details.
Okay, thanks.
thanks very much as well for that, Neil. Obviously, again we can
Hope for
have
veterans.
that highlighted. And
You know, we're thinking about something like a board on Millennium Green or something like that.
Sort of, or somewhere in Colne that's prominent, because the actual community, obviously, it's long gone down by Waterside, Old Wapping. Maybe, somewhere near the top of Colne Lane, which was the entrance, obviously, to the Old Wapping, somewhere like that. I think it's just something that it's sad that we celebrate everything, but we don't celebrate his own history, and we don't remember his own past.
thank you for that. And how are you gonna top last year's Christmas light switch on?
Well, so the main bulk of the event's been booked. We've booked the traffic management, road closure sat on my desk ready to go in. This year, we're looking at getting a proper stage like we did last year, because it worked really, really well. All the performers said it was much better than performing on the lorry. So I'm just waiting for one more quote back from the stage, and that can be booked. The generator and the stage crew have all been booked ready. We've got the rodeo reindeer, snow globe, snowboard simulator, donkey rides, craft activities, clog dancers, Accrington Pipe Band, Wall Street Primary School Choir. We're going to do letter writing to Santa, a festive town trail like we did this year, because it worked very well. Face painting, and then we're going to do some character meet and greets with some festive characters. We've also got some very good walkabout festive characters as well. So we've got the best Grinch and Cindy Lou I've seen, and 2 Christmas fairies as well, which I think will go down really well. The sleigh's been booked. The stage schedule, I've got one more act to book, but I'm just waiting back for my price, but everything else has been booked for the main stage. And our main 2 acts have been booked as well, but we're not going to give any details of those yet. Ernie's have agreed that we can use the room again at the same rate that we paid this year. I'm currently in talks with Santa. Santa was the real Santa last year. However, his prices shot up. So I'm currently negotiating, but I do have a backup Santa that's also very good for a fraction of the price as well. West Riding, Farmhouse Biscuits have agreed to sponsor the event again. And I'm currently in talks with a funfair provider about getting like a Miami Wave or a bigger ride for the teenagers instead of just the small roundabout rides that they normally bring. It's a large ride that teenagers like, just to add to the event a little bit. And as mentioned, I've been talking to Diana Astor, and they've agreed to support the event again. But the main bulk has been booked. With just a couple of finishing touches now for the event to be booked. That can be sorted. Yeah, that can be sorted without any additional work. Pretty much just a quick email. But yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I know it's a European thing and all that, but what about having Krampus marching up the high street? I'm sure we'd love to see some of those little children being put into a sack and dragged off. It'd be good.
Health and
Is it-
safety. Oh my God.
Yeah, health and safety.
Just take them and shoot them.
Yeah.
Well-
I don't need the makeup, do I? No, maybe do something like that. It'd be interesting because it's very, very popular in other areas, I believe.
It's more like a German Austrian
Hmm.
tradition.
And we are Germanic in our origins anyway, so I tie into that. I just want to see these little children being tied up and thrown into sacks.
What's the permit? You'll find. I didn't feel there.
It's just popped to mind that Alice might not be too happy. We've got 286 torches left downstairs, so we got rid of quite a lot of them, but we still have a small amount left. So,
I must admit it was much better last year with the stewarding. I felt that they were regularly placed, and so if we can keep that, that'd be brilliant.
brilliant.
Thanks for that one. Did we receive an update from the bid for this meeting as well, Nathan?
I've not received anything from the bid manager. However, I know that they are planning the Winter Bloom Light Festival, for which I think is back end of February, if I'm right. And obviously they are looking at the Soapbox Challenge to return this year, as well as the food festival as well. But I've not actually received an update from them.
So thankfully, the bid have moved the Soapbox Challenge to the 30th of June, which allows the Cornwall to go ahead and with no disruptions. So thanks to Sarah Club and Price who negotiated that. Thank you. And I just think if the bidder are indisposed, could we have a sort of a letter saying what they're doing and where they're doing that sort of thing? Just something to keep us in the loop, if you will.
If Anissa's not attending, she does normally send an email with an update on, but I think she might still be on annual leave. Obviously, she was off over Christmas, so I'm guessing that's why I've not had an update. But I do normally get something from her if she's not attending.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Has anybody got any items for the next agenda? Anything anyone would like to raise at all? Or?
I just think you know, the COVID of the COVID, enough said, but, if they want to work with us, then they should come and work with us. And I'd like them to come to the full, if they want anything from us, come to the full council, not have a private meeting with the chairman and the events committee secretary. If they want anything, yeah, we'll help them, no worries, but it's better to do it in open public view rather than behind closed doors. You know, they're putting events on, and we are putting events on. And no matter how much you like events, which I do, some of the people in Colne just get a little bit fed up with all these road closures and all this and all that. And anything that big can do, we're already doing, if you know what I mean. But, you know, I'm quite happy to sit down, have a chat, put everything in writing. I'd be more than happy. So can we put that on the next agenda? Thank you.